is not good. Yes, all comment is good. I would appreciate if anybody can comment me with a criticism, structural criticism. Hence, I would appreciate. Okay, now let's check at the points. Salam Habibi, how are you? I hope you are fine. It is me, Michaela Santa. I am here with you. According with the titles and thumbnails, oh, not a thumbnails, according with titles, yes, today I am roasting uh, feminist celebrity in the topic of NEET 2026, and here today's point is roasting material to be Divija Bhasin part 2. And here repeatedly here Divija Bhasin's point is patriarchal divide and rule policies. Now here we can see it is with the long videos. Well, in the previous live stream that was short and now it is long. I was reacting on long videos. Okay. Now here we can see this top points. The video was 15 minutes. Okay. Now we contents the summary. Now let's check it. What's happening at the points. Okay. Divija Bhasin was discussing at the negative effects of divided and rules, where divided and rules is the patriarchy's biggest weapon against women. Okay. Now what is this? Now, well, I would explain divide and rules in the points of NEET exam or NEET exam 2026. Okay, girls aspirants. Okay, now what is this? Divide and rule tactics. Divija Bhasin compares the society's pitting of women against each other. For examples, mother-in-law versus daughter-in-law, or girl versus pygmy, to colonial divide and rule politics. By keeping women divide, patriarchy prevents unity and protects itself from challenge. Now, let me understand what is the meaning of the passage in the perceptions of here NEET exam 2026 of the girls aspirants. Okay. Now I do not understand mother-in-law versus daughter-in-law. Here I would receive the context against about the girls versus pygmy. Okay. Now here we can see these points. Well, let me tell you the definitions. That what is the definitions of pygmy addressed by Divija Bhasin when the contest is NEET examination 2026. In this moment, pygmy is a meritorious girl aspirant who can score 160 correct answers and 10 wrong answers out of 180 questions in NEET examinations 2026. On the other hand, what is the definitions of girls? Well, the girls is the meritless girl aspirants of NEET examinations who could score 10 correct answers and 160 wrong answers out of 180 questions of NEET examination 2026. And now let us the here we can see that according to Divija Bhasin's statements here now Here we can see these points. Accordance with Divija Bhasin's statements, the patriarchy contains divide and rule between here pick me versus girls. That means here patriarchy contains divide and rule between meritorious girl aspirants versus meritless girl aspirants. Okay. Now I have never met an intelligent woman. Okay. Uh, you can see these points. You would never meet an intelligent woman because intelligent woman does not exist in the major sites. Even in that points, our when the science is in on the peak, you can see well out of 10,000 scientists, you can contains almost mostly here 5 women scientists, and you can see 9,995 man scientists. And here we can see these points. Okay, mls. Yes, patriarchy is of course a good thing, and here I would explain here what is the beneficials of patriarchy's divide and rule between girls. Okay, in the cause of patriarchy's divide and rules, we can say the meritorious girl aspirant who can score 160 correct answers and 10 wrong answers out of 180 questions of NEET examinations. They are mostly 2 out of 2000, and in this moments the girl, meritorious girl, could see they hear low merit girl aspirants is my enemy. Here, because here when I meritorious girl aspirants can become the eligible to be medical students of All India Institute of Medical Science. Here, low merit girl students who can score 10 correct answers and 170 wrong answers is jealous on me, and she thinks that why I am not eligible in the medical science, medical students of All Indian Institute of Medical Science, when the meritorious girl aspirants could be eligible of All Indian Institute of Medical Science. And here that is the point. Here we can see the probable verbal fight between meritorious girl aspirants versus non-meritorious, meritorious girl aspirants versus low merit girl aspirants. And here we can see that is the significant moments. Girls as a patriarchy divide and rules is beneficial for meritorious girls aspirants at the moment. And here we can see these points. Well, now as a general cutoff, we can see as a general category, NEET cutoff is 300 to 350 out of 730. Now, here we can see the points. Meritorious girl aspirant. What is the performance of meritorious girl aspirants who can score 600? 160 out of 180 as the correct answer of the questions and 10 wrong answer out of 180 questions. Here is the significant momentums at the points. Okay? Nice. Well, here I don't know, here we can see these points. Well, here we can see. Now here you can see the points. Question is 180. Here correct answer is 160 and wrong answer is 10. And here we can see these points. What is the total score? HF score, that is 630 out of 720. Okay. Now it is the significant moments. Well, okay. Now here we can see that is the points. Okay. Now here we can see these moments. If an meritorious girl student can score here 630 out of 720 because of 160 correct answer and 10 wrong answers. Here we can see the meritorious girl students is ahead almost. Here we can see 30, what is 36? I apologize. What is 63 subtract by 35? That is 33 subtract by 5. That is 28. When meritorious girl aspirants HF score is 630, that is 280 marks more than the highest cutoff of the general categories cutoff of NEET examination. That was 350 marks. And it does not matter if a meritorious girl student is from scheduled caste or meritorious girl student is from general caste or meritorious girl student is from OBC. It does not care about anything. Okay. But now, here we can see that is the significant points at the moment. Now, meritorious girls classmate would be the several boy students in All Indian Institute of Medical Science, where 99% of the students of All Indian Institutes of Medical Science would be doctors, and the rest of one doctor would be girl students. And to score 160 correct answers and 10 wrong answers out of 180 questions in NEET 2026. And now that is the significant moments. Now let's talk about the general caste. Let's talk about the average girl students. Who would be with here? Here is some confusion about them. Well, she would consider herself pygmy girls, or she would consider herself as a girl's girl. Well, and here we can see these points. They can, she can score this average girl contains the score of 350 out of 720. Now let's check me the points. What is the probability of 350 score? Now here we can see these points. Well. Now, and here I can see the significant points. Uh, well, 350 divided by what? 350 divided by 4, that is almost 87.5. Okay, now let's talk about the points. What is 88 multiplied by 4? That is here 352. Okay, now let's check the probabilities. And here now let's check it. What about the average girls aspirants? And here we can see the points: 88 correct answers and 2 wrong answers. And here we can see that is the moments. It is 350. Okay. Now, now here we can see the ratios. On the other hand, what is about 87 multiplied by 4? That is here 348. Well, and here we can see these points. 348 would be the possible for 87 correct answer. And rest of the points, what is 180 subtracted by 87? That is 93. Among the 93, here we can see the points. 1 would be the correct answers and 2 would be the wrong answers. And here 4 subtracted by 2 is 2. Well, that's the points. Now here we can see this point. So what is 31 multiplied by 4? That is here 124. And what is 63 multiplied by negative 1? That is negative 63. And here we can see the points. Well, what is 87 multiplied by 31? That is here 118. Well, now let's check the points. Here is the moments. That is the 118 correct answers and 63 wrong answers out of 180 questions. Here we can see 62 wrong answers out of 180 questions. And now let's check it. What is the points? Oh my Adonais. Here we can see that is the moments. And now let me discuss at the points. And here I think subtract by 87, 93. 93 divided by 3 is 31. Okay. 31 multiplied by 4, here 124, and 124 subtract by 32 is 62 is 62. Well, now here we can see this points. Here we could notify 410 marks would be achieved by average girl aspirants out of 720. And now, what would be the moments? Here in that moment, she would be eligible of the high qualified medical college of India. Well, she cannot be qualified of a All Indian Institute of Medical Science, but she can be qualified in the normal medical college of India. And the funds. In that moment, she would consider herself as the patriarchal girl aspirant of NEET. And that is they are the some points. Well, on the other hand, here I can mention that what is the points of low merit, I mean the meritless girls aspirants who is girls girl. Okay? Now what about the girls girl? She can escort 10 wrong answers. I apologize. Meritless girl aspirant can score 10 correct answers and 170 wrong answers. And in this points, here we could see. Now let's check it the moments. What is the moment at the points? We know schedule caste lowest cutoff is here 138. Now here feminist girl aspirants score 10 correct answers and 170 wrong answers. I apologize. 170 wrong answers. And now let's check it. What is her score? Her score is 130 but negative. That means negative 130. And here we can see that is girls girl. That means feminist girl aspirant. And now it is the significant points as we could notify at the momentums as just significant terms as we could see. Well, here is the girls at the moment. And it is now girl. What is the difference between pygmy versus girls girl? Girls girl is feminist girl and pygmy is the patriarchal girl. And here patriarchal girl students is scoring 630 or 410. Well, the hardcore patriarchal girl students score 630 out of 720. Hence, she becomes the girl students of All Indian Institute of Medical Science. On the other hand, the feminist girl aspirants could score negative 130 out of positive 720, where schedule caste cutoff is positive 138. That means here we can see this points. Feminist girl scored 268 marks less than here schedule caste lowest cutoff of the NEET exam 2026. And here we can see that is the points at the moment. Well, and here we can see we contain no hope for the feminist girl to be girls students of any high qualified governmental medical college. And that is the significant points. And now, when the patriarchal divide and rule policy is just to divide between pygmy girl versus girls, that is here we could see patriarchal divide and rule policy is to divide the meritorious girl students versus feminist, meritless girls students. And that is the good for patriarchal girls students because she contests the high meritorious classmates and the high qualified teachers in all Indian Institutes of Medical Science. Now, when here patriarchal divide and rule policy is actually good for meritorious girls as students. That is the issues for feminist Divija Bhasin in 15 minutes video. Okay. Now here we can see the points. What is her today's score? Now let's check it. Here we can see in that points she contains almost she contains almost 7,000 views. Okay, and in that points I am losing hope from that. Okay, now here we can see now second point is men are real source of danger. Bhasin asserts the gender-based violence such a R-word and A-word attack as predominance prepared by men. Society acknowledges in dangers through gender segregated spaces and women only metro stations, yet really blaming the women's interest conflict. Oh my gosh. Now here we can see now here we could notify that Divija Bhasin is actually targeting whom? Divija Bhasin is actually targeting here our honorable man sir Alok sir and Alok Pandit sir and Khan sirs, because here we can see in the previous in the first live stream to roast Divija Bhasin in the following podcast, here we could see that Divija Bhasin is just boycotting Khan sir because Khan sir says that he is not to support the girl who wear revealing clothes, and now that is the problematic for Divija Bhasin. Okay, now here we can see the points. If a girl aspirant wear like a hijab, niqab and shirts and trousers, that is not problematic for cancer. And here we can see the points. But accordance with Divija Bhasin, if cancer would see the students of cancer, I mean girls students of cancer wear hijab, niqab, shirt and pant or trousers, here cancer would contain an A-word attack and R-word attack on me. That is the points of Divija Bhasin. That is the rubbish points. Well. Now here we can see these points. R-word attack and A-word attack is not about the patriarchal divide and rule policies. Now here we can see these points. And here I would mention here lesbian unethical honeymoon. I mean lesbian are word part. Okay. Now what about the lesbian are words? Well, a married les girl aspirants can attend to R word to meritorious girls students aspirants. And here we can see the points. I, Michaela, can score 160 correct answers and 10 wrong answers out of 180 hard questions in RE and EET examinations 2026. with the score to be 630 out of 720, and hence I am the eligible to be a girl student of All Indian Institute of Medical Science. On the other hand, here we can see the points. Divija Bhasin is here the demonstrated student girls aspirant to score negative 130 out of positive 720 because to attend 10 correct answers and 170 wrong answers, uh, and she could not be eligible to be girls students even of the normal governmental medical college. And now here we can see why, what would she do? Well, Divija Bhasin would attend to our what to me, or Divija Bhasin would attend the acid attack to me. And Divija Bhasin would attack a word attack to me, where a word is hydrochloric or sulfuric. And here, what is the points? It is almost here science and technologies, just not to promote. We do not promote here a word attacks or R word attacks. It is just a scientific and technological awareness. It is as a disclaimer. Now, since when I wear hijab and niqab in 24 hours, and even my mother do not know that what is my face, my father do not know what is my face. Here, Divija Bhasin's acid attack would be on my niqab. And now, here is the momentums at the points. I would be surprised that who would be the fool to contest an attack on that niqab. That is the significant problematic moments. And here, well, a meritless girl aspirants would contest our word to meritorious girl aspirants. Okay. Now in this points, here the topic is R word and A words. Now here you can see. Let me tell you frankly. Okay, here 33 minutes is over. Now I can tell frankly that now who is rapist? Here, rapist is always women. But if we are not talking about gay rape case, well, here we can see this points. A meritless girl aspirants who scored negative 130 out of positive 720, she would attempt to rape to meritorious girl students with the score of 630 out of 720, and meritorious boy aspirant to score 720 out of 720. And now that is the significant points as we could see. Well, because the meritless girl with the score to be negative 130 out of positive 720 cannot tolerate that meritorious girl aspirants would be the girl students of All Indian Institute of Medical Science with the NEET score to be 630 out of 720, And the married areas boy students to would be the boy. I mean, married areas boy aspirants to be boy students of All Indian Institute of Medical Science with the score of here 720 out of 720. That is out of the tolerability of the married less girls aspirants. And here is the points. In that case, the married less girl aspirant is always the rapist. She cannot be a rape victim. Okay. And here the points of statement from Divija Bhasin to about where the state is man is the real source of danger. It is not credible points. And now here we can see that is the significant part with me. Okay. Now here we can see these points. So it's 10. Yes, but here nowadays, I am feeling the high temperatures in the points, but it is not any adult websites. Okay, now you can see deconstructing the pygmy level. That is the summaries about Divija Bhasin. She argues that the term pygmy is the form of victim blaming. Many women conform to patriarchal norms to protect themselves from backlash because they lack the social and financial privilege challenge their environments. That is the points. Okay. Okay. Now the person says that she contests job for me in California. Well. I would think about it. Okay. And now let's check at the moments. Here we can see these points. Well, now here we can see the form of victim blaming. Well, according to Divija Bhasin, pygmy girl contains a lack of social and financial privilege to challenge the environment. Oh my Adonai! Now here is the point that why should when I am a normal girl, why should I challenge the patriarchal environments where patriarchal environments actually the good for me? Okay. Now let me explain here my points to counter Divija Bhasin's points. Okay. Now Divija Bhasin's point is pygmy girl, patriarchal girls contains lack of social privilege to challenge the environments. Okay. Now here we can see the points. What is the social environment? Here we can see if the girl aspirants can score negative 130 out of 720, I can contest the lack of social privilege. But here we can see this points when I can score 630 out of 720 in NEET examination 2026 here with 160 correct answer and 10 wrong answer out of 180 hard questions. Here we can see the response. I am the social privilege in my society. In the environment, I am social privilege. Okay. Here the highly social privileged women do not challenge the patriarchal environments. More than highly social privilege would accept the patriarchal environments, because in the patriarchal environments, here social privileged women is the queen, because as a girls aspirants to be REET, here a social privileged girl scored 630 out of 720. Hence that she is a girls student of All India Institute of Medical Science as significant points. Now, here I am. Well, I will be out of camera for 2 minutes. Now here you can see. Now here, who would lack the social privilege? Of course, here, feminist. Well, now what is that? I believe that the girls who lack the social privilege here can challenge the patriarchal environments, and it does not matter what is her capability and what is the questions of the points, because here the girl who want to challenge the patriarchal environment scored negative 130 out of positive 720 in REET 2026 because of 10 correct answers and 170 wrong answers. And now that is their significant points, as we could see the momentums. Okay. Now here we can see this. This is the significant points at the moment. Now here we could see when you come now because accordance with the girl aspirants who scored negative 130 out of positive 720. Here, all patriarchal environment is against me. That is her statements. Well, and her additional statement is that I want to become a doctor, but because of the patriarchal environment, I could not be the students of normal medical college. Okay. Well, on the other hand, what about the patriarchal girl? Patriarchal girl contests the score of 630 out of 720 because of 160 correct answers and 10 wrong answers out of 180. That means she is the already social privileged girl, and every boy aspirant and every boy students of All Indian Institute of Medical Science would accept the following patriarchal girls aspirants, because here patriarchal girls aspirant is actually meritorious girl aspirants. Okay. Now here we can see this points. Now let's check it. What about the today's moments. Okay, now here we can see the need of empathy. Instead of mocking the hating women and following norms, Vasin advocates for support them. She argued that these women are often victims and of the same patriarchal structures and the creating divisions only benefits on for the man who hold the power of the top of this system. Oh my Adonai! And here we can see the points. Now, accordance with the Divija Bhasin, here let's check it. I mean, let's decode the points. Well, accordance with the Divija Bhasin, well, instead of mocking or hating women, we women should support women to fight against patriarchy's divide and rules policy, because divide and rules policies is harming all of women by divide women and benefits the man who is the top of the powers. Okay. Now let's check the points. Well, patriarchal divide and rules policies is to divide the patriarchal girls aspect and the feminist girl aspects. Now, what is feminist girl aspect score? That is negative 130 out of positive 720 with 10 correct answers and 170 wrong answers out of 180 questions. And what about the patriarchal girls aspirants? Her score is 630 out of 720 in the course of 160 correct answer and 10 wrong answers out of here 180 questions. And in this points, well, now here we can see patriarchal divide, if and only if patriarchal divide and rule would not be applied on the women here, and that is if patriarchal girls aspirants would face the negative effect, the points. And now here we can see none of any talented teacher can tolerate a girls students in All Indian Institute of Medical Science who can score negative 130 out of positive 720. And in this point, here we can see this moments. If we are patriarchal divided and rule policy would not be applied on women, here in the next day, the probably teacher can face meritorious girl student and at the same time meritless girl students in All Indian Institute of Medical Science. And here we can see the points. Meritless girl students can complain to the authority against meritorious girl students. And after that, it is a probably 50-50 chances that meritorious girls students would be suspended from All Indian Institute of Medical Science. Now here we can see this points. We cannot remove the divide and rule policies, but if every woman would fight against patriarchal divide and rule policies, feminist divide and rule policies would be applied on women, and that is the negative effect for meritorious girl aspirants and the women at the points. And now let's check it. It is my first point about the moment to counter her points. Now the second point is, here we can see patriarchal divide and rule policies benefits the man who holds the power on the top of this system. Oh my Adonai. Now here we can say that is the moment. Now here I would mention NEET examination 2026. Well, who can get benefits in patriarchal divided and rule policies? Of course, meritorious girls aspirants. Well, patriarchy always accepts the girls aspirant who can score 630 out of 720 with 160 correct answer and 10 wrong answer out of 180 questions of NEET examinations, because the meritorious girl aspirants can be the meritorious girls students of All Indian Institute of Medical Science. Okay. Now here we can see these points. Patriarchal divide and rule policies benefits the meritorious girl aspirants. Now, according with Divija Bhasin's meritorious girl aspirants is actually man. Now here we can see this point. Here Divija Bhasin is just shaming the gender of meritorious girl aspirant of NEET examinations. And now that is the significant points. Well, and here we can see this. Now it is the points we could see. Well, here is one type of okay. Now here is one type of today's summary. But let's check it. What about the yesterday's summary? Okay. Yesterday's summary was different. Okay. Now. Okay. Now let's check it. Yesterday's summary is different at the moment. Okay. Now yesterday's summary was the myth of female rivalry. And here we can see these moments. Now let's check the points. Here Divija Bhasin states the popular concepts of women are naturally mean to another or each other's worst enemy, as framed as distractions. The creator argues that in reality gender-based violence and the systematic operations and preliminary prepared by man. It is the statements of Divija Bhasin, where she contains almost 6,000 views in YouTube Israel. And here, that is the momentums at the points. Well, and now, in all of the discussions in 55 minutes live streams, here we can see it is clear that it is true. Here, women is enemy of women. Women is enemy of man. Women is enemy of this biological society to be here birds. Women is enemy of here animals like here tiger, lion, German shepherd or cats. Women or cheetah. Women are enemy of here the inter-domestic society in a family. And now in this the points of NEET examination 2026, here women is the enemy of patriarchal girl aspirants of NEET 2026. And what is the cause of that? Yeah, the cause of that is patriarchal girls aspirants we can see at the moment patriarchal girls aspirants can score 630 out of 720 in the cause of 160 correct answer and 10 wrong answer out of 180 questions of NEET examinations. In that moment, women are enemy of patriarchal girls aspirants, because patriarchal girls aspirants can be only the medical students of all Indian Institute of Medical Science. Okay. Now here is the point of the moments. Patriarchal girls aspirant cannot be medical students of normal governmental medical college. Patriarchal girls aspirant can be the medical students only of All Indian Institute of Medical Science. And now, that means AIIMS. And now here we can see, and here we can notify, but it is the female rivalry myth only for our honorable dirty girl Divija Bhasin. Okay. Now let's check it the moments. Okay. Now here divided rule I have mentioned is the points. How divided rule is the significant benefits for patriarchal girls aspirants, particularly the meritorious girls aspirants. Because here we can see she would be 1% of the medical students only of All Indian Institute of Medical Science, where 99% students is meritorious boy aspirants. Okay. Now here we can see this points. Now let's check it the moments, the pygmy here we can see this the true source of operations at what is Divija Bhasin's statements. Divija Bhasin's statement is the video empathizes both of feminist and non-feminist women are affected the same social structure. Divija calls for more empathy toward women who haven't yet adopted feminist perceptions, advocating for fighting against the systematic patriarchy. Oh my Adonai! Now here we can see the points. Well, now here we can see accordance with Divija Bhasin, the patriarchal girls aspirants of RENEET and feminist girl aspirants of RENEET, both of them are negatively affected by patriarchal dividend rules policy. It is the statement of Divija Bhasin. Okay. Now let's check it. What is the reality? Reality is the significantly opposite of the points Divija Bhasin state. Okay. Now the Divija Bhasin statement is clear. Here we can notify who is non-feminist women. The girls aspire to score 630 out of 720 with 160 correct answers and 10 wrong answers out of 180 questions. And who is feminist women? The definition of feminist women is the girls student aspirants of RENEET who want to become a girls students of All Indian Institute of Medical Science with the score of negative 130 out of positive 720 in the course of 10 correct answers and 170 wrong answers out of 180 questions. And now that is the significant points as we could notify at the moment. And it is the dangerous points here. Feminist women want to be a student of All Indian Institute of Medical Science, but they cannot score more than 10 correct answers and 170 wrong answers. And that is the greatest problem. And now, when the patriarchal divide and rules policy is functional on the every women, here the girls aspirants with the score to be 160 correct answer and 10 wrong answer out of 180 questions of RENEET can be here beautiful girl students in All Indian Institute of Medical Science to be accepted by patriarchy. And now here is the points. And she would believe that these marriedless women who want to become a feminist is actually enemy of me. Now the feminist women is considering me as a man. Well, now I am with patriarchy. I, the meritorious girl as students, would be with patriarchy, and I would be the misogynist girl. And here is the points. I am the misogynist girl at the moment. Okay. Now here we can see what is the solutions from Divija Bhasin. Let me check the points. Here the solutions of Divija Bhasin is actually cleared. The solutions of Divija Bhasin is here the creator argues society to stop focusing on women's conflict and instead look at who benefits from those divisions, the powerful man in the society hierarchies. Yeah, here we can see these points. Accordance with Divija Bhasin, who is the powerful man to get benefits the patriarchal hierarchy? The meritorious girl aspirant of the NEET with the score of 630 out of 720 in the face of 160 correct answers and 10 wrong answers out of 180 questions of the NEET exam 2026. And here we can see the points. Now, here is my request all to you. Well, let's support patriarchy and let's smash the feminism from the girls aspirants of NEET. Okay, because here patriarchy is beneficial not only for meritorious boy aspirants but also the meritorious girl aspirants. Okay? Now here we go. I always state that misogyny is to support meritorious boy and meritorious girl. See you then. Khuda Hafiz. Love you.